What's up investors and welcome back to the channel. So in my latest ILUS International video, I said I would release an update video as soon as we have news regarding the share structure update. It was largely expected that this was going to be updated before the end of the week. However, CEO Nick Link has just issued a letter to shareholders and released a video. Anyways, thank you to all my viewers for all your comments. Here are the updates from Nick Link. And if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button and bell notification so you don't miss out on any new content like this. Now let's get into it. So this letter was released just yesterday on the 20th of August regarding the share structure update. We have previously assured you that the share structure update is purely an admin process and it is not holding anything up in terms of our operations and ability to deliver on our growth plans. Regarding the share structure update, the groundwork has been completed and ready for execution, with this being a quick process. However, there has been an unexpected issue this week because of GPL Ventures is facing SEC legal action. This potentially has a large upside for ILUS since GPL holds notes in ILUS. However, on the downside, there have been issues regarding GPL and the reserves. So this letter continues with the fact that ILUS attorney is working on solutions and that it won't be a lengthy process and that ILUS apologised for the delay and hope to have everything finalised next week. I think to best understand the situation, it's worth listening to Nick Link explain everything in this video.
Hi ILUS family, I just wanted to give you a quick update on the SS, which we had said we were hoping to update today. We're pretty much on track from our point of view. So our attorneys had more or less done everything they needed to do. All the issuances, resolution documents, all that stuff is done and sitting with the TA. They're basically just waiting to push the button. So that's all, been relatively positive, on track for this Friday today, as we had said. There's only one little thing that needed to be done from our part. One little thing, a couple of hours work, was to create a new category of preference shares, an additional one to the one we've already created. It'll become clearer down the future, but basically the idea is that new category of preference is for some of the big block holders to move some of their stock into to lock it up. But more information will come out on that, in the future. But however, we needed to create it part of this reorganization. However, us being on track and being ready, we stumbled upon an issue last week, or Friday night last week, with the GPL saga. So those of you that aren't familiar, GPL obviously are a funder. They were historically involved with ILUS for the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever. Had a bunch of toxic notes in ILUS, which obviously the first batches they converted and sold out from under our nose. But anyway, whatever, that's fine, it's been done, nothing we can do about it, no crying over spilt milk, they say. However, we negotiated with them and settled the balance of their old notes, all the toxic ones. So that settlement agreement was done a long time ago, a few months ago, which we announced to the market. However, connected to the settlement thing is the settlement agreement is they had a big chunk of reserves at the TA. So those of you who aren't familiar with what reserves are, is you have your shares issued and you have your authorized. The gap between the shares issued and the authorized, that gap is where reserves can sit. So in other words, when somebody is likely to get shares, you can reserve shares for them. They're not issued, but it means when they come back to get the shares which they might be entitled to, there are shares available for them. So they're called reserves. So GPL obviously had a bunch of reserves, a huge bunch of reserves, which they had in place since their old toxic notes, 2018, 19, whatever. So we submitted all our stuff to the TA. The reserves are actually oversubscribed, which is what's causing us the headache, because there's more reserves than there is stock. It should never have been allowed to happen, but unfortunately the TA allowed it to happen for whatever reason. So let's say the reserves, there's 800 million shares available in between the authorized and the issued, but there's 900 or a billion worth of reserves. It's never an issue, it wasn't an issue for us because they're just reserves. They're not they're meaningless at this point. And under the settlement agreement, obviously we'd agreed to cancel all those. But obviously it made it more sense to do it all in one go. So the TA would be cancelling reserves, moving stock, changing categories, moving my stuff, removing that 40 million shares that we're going through legal action. You're kind of doing it all in one go, so we end up with one clean picture at the end. Boom. Nice and simple. However, and that was really the effective date was going to be yesterday and today. That was sort of our planned out closing or completion dates. And obviously we faced the GPL issue, which we never expected. So we basically at this exact point, it's too early into their issue to us to know really what, where we stand on the matter. They obviously can't sign any reserves, reduction of reserves or anything at this point because of what they're going through. Our legal counsel is sort of contemplating the options. There's multiple options of ways for us to do it. So we're not stuck. We're just stuck to do it today, if that makes sense. It needs to be thought through. The attorneys need to think about plan A, B, C, D. We need to look at which is the best one. We don't want to create a whole lot of mess, whole lot of legal fees, whole lot of admin if we don't need to do it. So we're sort of just waiting for the let's say the mud to settle, or the dust to settle. And once we know where we are on that over the next few days, we'll be able to just complete our part. The TA already has everything. They literally have everything. It's just a matter of one letter releasing those reserves, and they can finish their job. We actually think there might be, it's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, is that the saying, that the GPL scenario may have a positive impact on for our business. Obviously, it's stopped any potential selling that they might ever have been able to do. But the point is that they have some notes in the business now, which are friendly notes. They're low interest, they're friendly interest, they're 2 years, they only mature in 2 years' time, they're repayable. They're totally non-toxic terms. They're basically good quality lending, and we'd expect to repay them within the 2 years anyway. However, we're unsure what exactly this SEC action is likely to have on GPL's assets as a whole. I mean, SEC have applied for an asset freeze by what we read in the media. Who knows, how much sort of validity there is in that. But obviously, we were wondering what sort of impact that's going to have on these outstanding notes in our business. We know it's 2 years away, but ultimately, we would like to also report back to the shareholder what that's going to mean down the line. Now, we would anticipate that at least we're probably going to get a moratorium on those notes, or a moratorium on any GPL interaction, which I guess has a lot of positives for the shareholders. So I'm just putting that on the table. Bottom line is we don't know the answers yet. We just certainly don't see anything bad coming out of it for us. We only see an upside for us. Not that we wish ill harm or anything on anybody. It's not our character. It's not the way we operate. It's not our brand. We don't engage in that type of nonsense. But we do see it as an upside for the ILUS shareholders, who have taken quite a bit of pain over the whole incident over the last 6-7 months. So let's hope there's some light at the end of the tunnel on that one. So. And just to update you on one other one is that that 40 million shares that are going through the court action, as I mentioned previously, we're going through the court action. We have been unable to serve the defendants. They seem to be missing in action. We can't find them. Our attorneys can't find them. Investigators can't find them. They just seem to be unable to be located, which is what we expected, which is why we had to go down this route in the first place, which now means we're probably going to have to go through a way of publishing. It's like a legal process where we publish that this is what the claim is. Then they've got so many days to respond, and if they don't, then it's taken as served, and then, excuse the legal terminology, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to tell you. And then we can apply to the court for a default judgment, which will then allow us to just remove the shares, which will be a whole lot quicker than a court case anyway. So hopefully we are weeks out of it now, not months and months and months. So that's good news. Almost sure that 40 million is not going to come off this SS update. That I'm pretty sure of. As much as we would have liked it, it's not going to be. But we don't think it's far off anyway. But anyway, as you know, it's just an administrative process. So just to update you on that. So that was just really giving you the update. And just to summarize again, so people don't speculate, that the reserves that GPL need to cancel is not because we're issuing more shares. The reserves that they need to cancel is because we are oversubscribed on the reserves, which means there's more shares effectively could be issued than is actually allowed to be issued. So the TA needs that unblocked before they can actually take any action or issuing, moving, transferring anything on our account, which was why the GPL was going to do that all at once. Hindsight, I probably should have done it at the same time as the settlement, but I also was trying to make sure we were protected from anything else coming through the back door that we hadn't known about, hadn't seen. So it was kind of a protection mechanism, and then we would drop it at the same time as redoing the whole reorganize at the same time. So we're a little bit stuck with that at the moment, but it doesn't really have that much of a big impact, but we need to know where we stand in terms of the timing. So once we get update from our attorneys early part of next week, we'll be able to decide how exactly we remove those reserves and how we press on to get it all done. We want it done as well. I think we're all sick and tired of talking about SS and hearing SS all day long, every day. I think we're all sick and tired of it. So at least, let's get this behind us, let's get on, let's move on. At least the trading's been better this week, which hopefully will give people some peace of mind. And again, it just repeats ourselves that we've said many times before, this doesn't impact the business. You would have seen our Q2 results. They're pretty good. We're on track. We're doing well. We've got a plan, and everybody's moving forward at a hell of a pace. So this doesn't really have any impact on anything. It's purely just an administrative process, and I guess it gives everyone peace of mind for whatever that may be. So thank you very much for your time, and sorry we're not releasing them today as much as we would have liked to. Believe me, nothing more pleases us than pleasing you, but we've done our best, and you can expect that update ASAP. We've got meetings with the attorneys early part of next week where we will have a clearer picture on how quickly we can remove the reserves and execute everything. But from our side, we're pretty much done. It's just a preference share to be allocated today, and then we just need the reserves. So just to give you that update, thanks very much.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop it a like if you did. And if you're new around here, remember to hit that subscribe button and bell notification. Follow me on Twitter and join the Facebook group. All links below. Thanks for watching the video. What are your thoughts on the future of ILUS? What do you make of Nick Link's update, and what impact do you think this will have? Leave a comment down below and I'll catch you in the next one.